Welcome to Living the Dream, sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the podcast that brings together studio owners, dance educators, and leaders in the industry. Hosted by Rhee and Laura Giacomelli, each episode is packed with real talk, inspiration, and a passion for the dance life. We're so glad you're here. Good morning, friends, and welcome to a brand new episode of Living the Dream. I'm Rhee, and I am excited to be here with you.
Yes, hello to our dance fam. It's a good day when we get to share the space with all of you, so welcome.
If you're new to Living the Dream, it's where we celebrate the people who inspire us in the dance world. We invite you to subscribe, that was hard to say, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple for conversations that uplift your spirit and support your journey as educators, artists, and teachers.
Yes, and as we're getting started, feel free to pop into the comments and let us know where you're watching from. And we would love to see this community show up and connect, whether it's live or catching on the replay. So, Rhee, how are you? How's life? I feel like I've been talking to you in a little bit.
It has been a little while.
Yeah.
I am enjoying the journey. I took a week off, the week of Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
I put up that week off was the first time I'd taken off since August 4th.
Wow.
And I put up a Christmas tree. I watched Netflix. I went and got some things done that have needed to be done for the last 6 months and really enjoyed it. Was not happy when the following Monday came.
Yeah, I feel like that following Monday was kind of a little bit of like a kick in the butt because I was the same. I really tried to take some time off, and I don't know if studio owners can relate. I feel like you prep to have that time off, right? Like you prep, you get the newsletters done and the emails and the payroll and the dance costumes for competitions are done and the recital costumes are ordered at that point. But still, I came back on Monday and I was like, wow, there's a lot of fires on Monday. Oh, okay. Nothing like crazy, but just a lot to come back to. It was like, it jumped back into 100 miles an hour. I feel like there was no like easing into the week after Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, we're back. We're halfway through the season now, which is kind of crazy to say out loud. Like, here we go.
We are there. It seems like we just started. Are you into recital costumes and stuff like that? How's it going?
Yeah, so I actually split our order in half now. We do, because our competition season starts a little bit earlier, we do a February gala. So we order competition costumes, company costumes in October. They're ordered by like maybe the 10th of October, I want to say. So they're already in. They're already distributed. Exchanges are already done and handled, which is crazy. And then the week before Thanksgiving, that's when our recital costumes get ordered. And I ordered them and I thought to myself, oh, they'll take a little while to come in. I literally pulled up from Thanksgiving that Monday. I was at my parents' house and there were all the boxes sitting in my driveway. I was like, oh, here we go. Like back to life, back to reality. I mean, they came within 5-6 days and we still, you have the process of checking them all in and making sure it's the correct sizes and styles. So by no means do I hand them out anytime soon. That process takes a while. Plus we have Christmas break, but yeah, I pulled up into my driveway. I was like, yep, here we go. Right back to studio owner life.
And will you sort all of those costumes or do you have somebody to hand that off to?
I have someone who handles all of that. I actually do the ordering. I order everything still. I handle all the exchanges still. And I also figure out, I have someone else measure them, but I'm the one who figure out the sizes. That's just something, I feel like that's just such a big job of the whole thing. It's not even like adding it to the cart and ordering. It's like being very aware and careful of what sizes you're ordering all these kids and how much are they going to grow? How, what a recital kid needs for June is what a comp kids need for February. So it's just, I think it's a whole different animal when it comes to measuring them and figuring out sizes. So that's something I haven't handed off. But when those boxes come in, they just get loaded into my Jeep and dropped off to the studio. And I say, see ya. I don't have to do anything from there. Let me know the exchanges and I'll handle all of that. But that was a nice job to delegate, for sure. A nice job to delegate.
I want to tell you something I discovered recently, and it pertains to this. Michelle Souter walks into the classroom with a list of all of her students, using no measuring, no anything, writes down whether they're small, medium, large, etc. And she's never wrong.
How? Can she just do a lesson on that? That should be.
I could not believe it when she said it. She's the only one. She does that herself. She walks into every classroom. She says that she's a small, she's a medium, she's a large, and that's how the measuring goes.
How many years has her studio been open?
30, I think.
I was going to say, I thought that she was double mine because I'm in season 15.
Yeah, I think 30. So maybe you'll be able to do that. Is that one of your ultimate goals?
I mean, I would hope within 15 years I have my act together. When
Can you imagine like walking around the shopping mall and looking at people and go, "Oh, she's an extra large."
It's her hidden talent. I love it. Yeah, I feel like there's some, most I can do, but there's still a couple where like I'll sit there and I'm like, I'm gonna call my rep and I'm gonna say I have this size here, this and there's like at least 1 or 2 a year that I'll call my rep and I'll say, should I do an extra large child or a medium adult? That always trips me up. She's like, nope, do a medium adult or no, do this or so there's some. So good for Michelle. That's awesome.
I got one more story and then we're going to get on with our show real fast because it just came to my mind and I like to tell stories. Rhee and I, my brother, are probably 12, 13 years old and a group of costumes came in. And my mother says, now we tried them on top of their leotards. My mother says, I want you to help me with this. And whatever you do, make it fit. Because she was afraid they were going to be too small for the kids. So my brother Rhee has this kid who's coming off the floor as he's trying to get the costume on that my mother said, make it fit. All of a sudden, we look down, and this girl has 2 legs through one hole of the costume. Oh, no. My mother said, make it fit. He was yanking that sucker up.
That poor little girl, she was doing the Little Mermaid.
She probably never forgot that.
That's a core good memory. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Rhee, I'm really excited for today's episode. It's really special. We're joined by 2 amazing individuals from the Asase Yaa School of Arts in Brooklyn. Zakiya Harris and Kofi Osei Williams. Their school is more than just training ground for dancers. It's a cultural and creative home where children feel safe, seen, and empowered. And we're very excited to have them here today.
I can't wait to introduce you to these special people, and we'll dive into their incredible work right after this special commercial. Before we dive in, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance Studio Management Software. They make it easy for studio owners all over the world, track registrations, communicate with families, and help teachers to focus on what it is they love to do, which is be in the classroom.
This episode is sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance. the dance studio software empowering you to build the studio of your dreams. With over 20 years of experience, Jackrabbit has the solutions and industry insights to help your business grow. Want to increase student enrollment, optimize your pricing to be profitable, or improve staff retention? See how other studios are using Jackrabbit Dance to hit their goals year after year. To learn more, visit jackrabbitdance.com/benchmarks.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Living the Dream.
Hello, thanks for having us.
I'm going to start with you, Zakiya, which I think I said correctly. And I want to ask how you've grown up in this studio. Am I correct?
I've grown up in the studio, not my studio, but in studio, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it like to now be the artistic director of your studio? Take us back to your early days. What brought you to the school and how has it shaped you?
I think, first of all, it's very surreal. Each time I walk in and see classes running and see students from as young as 2 years old all the way up to 18, it's a bit surreal because it is something that I had dreamed of doing and having from a young child. I did start dancing at the age of about 4 years old. And so I've been involved in dance and dance studio, and it's just been a huge part of my life. I don't really know what life is like without the dance studio. So to have my own is just an incredible feeling. It's very nostalgic. And I just, it's something that I'm very blessed and fortunate to be able to do.
Yeah.
I think starting the studio, I started as a dancer with the Asase Yaa African American Dance Theater first. And then myself and Kofi, we had dreams of owning a dance studio together. Not necessarily thinking that it would be or come as a proponent of the Asase Yaa African American Dance Theater, but it's something that it just kind of like transitioned organically into. So we were performers first. We were friends first, I should say, as children, young teenagers. And then we began performing professionally together. Osei's brother, Yao, started the African American Dance Company, so the performing company of dancers and drummers. And then from there, that's where we founded the school. So what we would find is that when we would be doing performances, a lot of people will always ask us, like, how could we teach their children? How could their children get what do we have for children? And so from there, we was like, wait, we have something here. Why try to do something separate from what we already have? Let's build a program that is like a continuation from what we already have started.
That's beautiful. I would also like to say, it resonated with me when you said, I don't know what it's like to not have a studio in my life.
Right.
When you said that, I was like, because I feel like there's a lot of my girls who are graduating, even one who's a junior right now, she's still trying to figure out what she wants to do. And what she keeps saying to me is like, I can't imagine not having a studio or like something else other than my home, something else to call home. So I feel like we're very lucky as studio owners that we have that. We were able to build that, you know? Yeah, that's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I know for the short time that, after recital and we go on break for summer, I'm like completely lost. Like Saturdays, I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what's supposed to be happening right now? So it's
like a panic. Like, this is not where I'm supposed to be.
For that short amount of time, it's so weird not having like classes and such.
And I love that you jumped on that business opportunity, one, creatively to have that children's program and start that, but also have a business part of it. Like to me, there's so many times where people are scared to jump, right? And do something like, I already have the dance company. Oh, yeah, there is this opportunity to bring children in and start a school too. But do I really want to do that? Do I want to have that? There's that. I had that second guess, you know, when I opened up my studio. Is this going to work? Well, do I have enough money to back it and run it by myself for a few months and pay the bills if it can't pay the bills? So I think it's great that you took that leap of faith and you jumped and you saw that there was an opportunity to bring the kids in. And I think that's beautiful. I love it. So you've worn many hats: dancer, captain, administrator, and educator. What does it mean to lead your program in a way that honors the African aesthetics while offering such a wide range of styles at your studio?
For me, to lead the program and lead it in a way in which, you know, that is true to our mission, to me is incredible to be able to have that liberty to do that. A lot of times, you know, you fall, I feel like sometimes we fall victim or prey to trying to change to meet or fit into like a box. But I know that like our mission and what we stand for is really needed in our community, and not just for like children of color, but I think for all children, to be able to learn and immerse themselves in this cultural exploration, especially for our children. I think it just gives them a sense of belonging and pride, because sometimes when they go into their other activities or like even at school, they don't always feel like their culture is the primary culture being taught, celebrated, or appreciated. So to have a organization and a program in which we can put our culture at the forefront, it's very important to me. And like I said, it's very special to me to be able to do that. I went to Temple University for dance, and that was my first experience with African dance. My studio was very ballet, tap, modern jazz, point, and that was what you took. And it was so interesting, and I loved going to Temple because I feel like it broadened my horizons for the dance world. And when I got into African class, oh my God, I loved it. I loved everything about it. That was the first experience of having a live drummer in class and calling out and calling a response, and everything was a story. Every step had a story behind it and a reason. This is where you were walking to, and this is you're bringing water. And I remember just being like, this is so beautiful. This is such a beautiful, beautiful technique. And I also loved it because going to Temple kind of broke the mold of being like, well, ballet is the be all end all, and that's where everything comes from. And that's just the studio and how I was raised. It's like ballet was the be all end all. And I went to Temple and I was like, that's not right. That's not where dance came from. That's not the original. Like this, it was just, you know, I got into African class. It was just really mind opening for me. And I think I love that you're bringing that into having it in a studio setting and bringing it into the community and making sure that dancers who are not principal prima ballerinas can really find their connection into the dance community as well, because I feel like that is such a huge need right now. And I find that as a missing piece in a lot of studios, that they walk in and they don't see dancers that look like them. They don't see teachers that look like them. They don't see or feel, you know, different technique that connects with them personally. So I think what your studio is doing is just beautiful. Thank you. And to piggyback off of what you said about coming to the realization that, you know, ballet dance isn't like the be all end all of all dance. I've had that experience myself, being taught that way, and stressing the importance, like if you don't know ballet and you don't master ballet, you're not going to be successful. And I felt that I needed to be able to change that narrative for young dancers so that they could not feel that way, because it's not really the truth. It is an important aspect in your training, but if you don't have that training, you can still be successful. And so I really wanted to, you know, emphasize that in our curriculum, in our program, in our training. So that's why we make sure that, you know, we are teaching all styles, including ballet, but we're going to emphasize it in a cultural way so that our dancers can feel confident, you know, in approaching the technique and not feel like this huge stigma of, you know, I can't do it. It's not for me, but it is for you. But we're going to do it in a way in which you can learn it and understand it.
It's funny, I just saw this on one of the dance teacher pages online, this debate. And I think it is evolving where people realize that, yes, ballet, what Zakiya just said, that yes, ballet is a part of who we are and what we do, but it is not necessarily was the base to what we do or the only way to get to dance. But I grew up being one of those kids who was told, you have to have the ballet. You have to have the ballet. Otherwise, you're not going to get there. So, keep Zakiya, keep fighting the battle.
Yeah.
Kofi, I want to ask you a question. You're the CEO, yes?
Yes.
And it says that you're expansive and inspiring. Can you share what your day-to-day looks like and how your own upbringing helped shape this vision?
Yes. So I started really young, same like Zakiya, but I didn't start in a studio. I started part of a dance company. And this company was the oldest African dance company in the United States. Denny Zulu African Dancers, Drummers, and Singers, based out of Queens, New York. And I lived in Brooklyn, but everybody else that was part of this company and part of what Denny Zulu was doing, they all were in Queens. And in the 80s, coming back and forth from Brooklyn to Queens, you know, it was a lot. Things have changed now. You know, my parents didn't have a car, so we was on the train and bus, you know, but me and my older brother that Zakiya mentioned, Yao, and I had a sister as well that was a dancer. We really, really loved dancing and drumming. So we would do things like have our performances in the house, you know, drive my mother crazy. Me and my brother used to sometimes take my mother's spaghetti and use them as sticks and be like, we was breaking them. And it would absolutely drive my mother crazy because, you know, she's using it for food and we using it as performance. So, you know, just playing music was really, really good. When I became a teenager, we started drumming at dance studios. And that's how I met Zakiya. We came to her dance studio, and first of all, we were blown away because there was so many students at this dance studio, right? It was in Queens, there was so many students. And for us, it was a group of us that were drummers. It was probably about 6 of us that was drummers. And we were young, we were really into hip hop music. So we used to dress like, you know, rappers and stuff. And I don't know if they ever had that kind of encounter, but I know when we came in, we took off our, you know, jackets. We still had on, you know, just the hip hop wear, and we started drumming. And they started dancing. I'm talking about they started dancing, and we, you know, and it was a real match. And from there, you know, we maintained a friendship, and you know, we started just building a lot. After high school, myself and my brother, we went to Guinea, West Africa, because that's where some of the top African musicians are, as far as traditional African music. We went to Guinea, which another thing my mother hated. She did not. She would have rather us go to college, right? But we went to Guinea and we studied with companies like Le Ballet Africains, Ballet Joliba, Basicolo. These were all like international companies that were touring the world that we really wanted to go study with. And when we came back, you know, we toured. We were touring. When Zakiya came back from college, she was touring with Step Africa, and you know, she was also still teaching, and you know, we were touring. And one day I called Zakiya and I said, we should start our own school. She said, give me a second. She called me back so fast. It was so fast. It was literally a second. You know, she said, let's do it. because we were both making, good money working at other studios.
Yeah.
And so when we took that leap to do it, I don't think we fully knew what we was getting in, but we were committed to doing it. Jackrabbit was actually the first software that we used for
Wow.
our studio.
Wow.
So we were committed. We didn't have a bunch of students, but we had a good number of students. And our youngest group, which we call our Tiny Tots, they are actually graduating to go to college this year, which, yes, is very, very brings tears to my eyes sometimes just for no reason. Just we sitting around and they're about to leave. They came from being our Tiny Tots to doing, shows, opening up new exhibitions at the Met for us.
Wow.
Doing shows at the Apollo, just all kinds of stuff that they do all the time with us. And to know that now that they're all grown up and going to college is really it's sad. So, that's some of our story. So, getting into the dance studio world, part of what I always wanted to do is make sure that we could facilitate the ideas that Zakiya has. And she doesn't have to worry about that part. She doesn't have to worry about how we're going to make the recital happen. Did we pay for the theater? Did we get enough money for costumes? Did all of the students, do they have, she makes sure that the registration and all of those things are correct. But I always want to make sure that, because we have a lot of different parts with Asase Yaa, I always want to make sure that we can afford what we're doing.
Okay, this isn't on the script, but I have to ask this question. I know at the conference you guys were at last year, and I did it too in the beginning. I thought you two were together, all right? But you are not together. You are just good friends.
Yes, we're like brother and sister, My wife is the godmother of her daughters, you know what I mean? Her husband is one of my really good friends. We was in Ghana a few years ago having a great time, us all four of us. So we're really, really tight, really, really tight knit.
So it's still a family affair, just in a different way.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So I guess I'm up. Kofi, my question is, you made a mission to bring high-level training into your neighborhood, which is beautiful. Why is accessibility so important to you and in your work?
So where we are and where we've been in Asase Yaa is Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. Bed-Stuy is sought out now, but it wasn't always like that. That's the neighborhood that I grew up in. I moved there when I was about 3 years old, and I lived there most of my life. I moved out when I got married and moved back. Our dance studio is literally across the street from my house now. So knowing the neighborhood and knowing the community was always something that I was always passionate about, because when you know what the community needs, you know how you can affect it. You could be in a high class community and you could be in a lower class community. Those communities still need the arts.
Yes.
Right? But it's how you serve the arts. In different kinds of communities, they appreciate the arts more because they can afford it, and because they can understand that this treat is going to help not just the children, but the adults as well in the community. In some communities where it's a little bit more difficult to afford, you look at the arts as a dessert. And when we have meals, our dessert is not a given. So in Asase Yaa, the arts for us is a vegetable, because it's going to be on the plate every day. It's going to help the children nourish. It's going to help the children build to where they need to be. And that's where, when you look at the children that are able to be at arts programs, you see that maybe they might not become artists, but they become passionate, they become committed, they become driven, all of these different things that work. And I don't just say this about outside of us, because our children were two of those tiny tots that started with us. Our daughters who are best friends, and I'm so concerned about them going to college and not being with each other all day every day. You know, my son who is a boxer, about to be a professional boxer, but he still does performances with us. He was an amazing dancer. You know, we can't get him to dance anymore, but he was an amazing dancer. But he's also a very, very talented drummer. And he's on our roster, he's one of our best drum teachers. So, you know, I understand the value. Sometimes people talk about things, and for example, some people might talk about fast food and then say that, you know, CEOs don't let their children eat fast food. But I don't think anybody with the right mind would let any child eat fast food every day. But I'm sure that the people that run fast food companies, they believe in what they're running. And so in our community, I know that it would be beneficial for families at all times to not just to get the arts, but get quality arts. And that is so important, is to have quality, because, you know, so many of our friends worked on Broadway, have done tours, have got nominated for Oscars and Emmys and won some of these things. A good friend of Zakiya that grew up in the same dance school, Camille A. Brown, has been doing amazing work. And we're working on bringing her in this year to be able to do some work with our children as well. Because when they get to see that, they see that, yes, there's a lot of professions in this world, but it doesn't mean that you have to just, you could say, oh, in order for us to make money, we can't be in the arts. No, it's just not true. It's a lot of arts as well.
Yeah.
No. Kids who grow up in the arts are those who are making money out there because they're disciplined, they're focused, and they learned all those things through that process. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
I wish that all of us as studio owners and teachers realize the impact that you can have on a child through your classroom, through this art form that we all love so much. You are speaking words of wisdom, my friend. So I want to say that I went to your website, and the first thing I saw on your website was children are brave when they feel safe. Zakiya, what do those words mean to you?
When children feel safe, they aren't afraid to try new things. They aren't afraid to explore new opportunities. But in order to get children to do those things, they have to feel like they trust you. They have to be in a loving and caring environment. So for us, that's where the safe piece comes in. Most of our children, especially the ones that have been with us for a while, they don't even refer to us as like Miss and Mr. We're uncle and auntie. So it's really like a family environment. And I think that allows them to thrive and, you know, feel okay with performing in front of strangers, feels comfortable speaking, doing public speakings, and just being able to just try something that's not necessarily something that they are comfortable with. We have a summer camp and we do only 6 weeks. And at the end of the 6th week, they do a performance. And some of the most shy children get up, they memorize lines and scripts within I can't even say 6 weeks, because we probably don't start practicing until like week 2. So maybe 4 weeks of, you know, learning and experimenting and exploring with the arts. And then they're able to get on a stage and perform a musical. And so I don't think that is possible unless they feel safe.
Yeah.
and feel encouraged and feel supported. So that's where that mission comes from and why we really stand behind that.
And I think it's very important that Rhee even just said, the first thing I saw when I went to your website was, and that's like that your mission is right there, loud and proud, because when parents go, they want to, there's so many options for dance.
Mm-hmm.
You're in New York. I'm in Pennsylvania. I have studios that way, like I'm surrounded by studios. So it's like when your website's your billboard, and to have your mission statement on that for studio owners who are listening, that's super important, because parents feel connected to that. Like, I want my child to feel safe. I want them to explore. I want them to be built up. That goes back to, it's so much more than dance, right? Like what you're saying, like it's the public speaking, it's going on to be able to feel comfortable standing on a stage as a CEO talking to your employees, right? Like we're building the next generation. And we're so lucky because, and I say this all the time, I get on stage at the end of my recital and I do like a graduating senior speech. And it's going to lead me into my next question. I love going up there and saying, we're so lucky we get to watch them from their little all the way through their childhood. Mm-hmm. We are one of very, very minimal activities that your child can get involved in, that we can watch them and really be a part of like their core memories growing up, like being in our dance classes, giving them extra experiences on stage and building them up. Like we're in an incredible situation. And I love that. I never take that for granted. And I say that to the parents all the time. Thank you for letting us be part of your village, because really we are. We're a part of their village. That leads me into my next question, actually. What mentors in your past helped shape you to be a leader you are today, and mentoring like the next generation of dancers?
For me, I would say one of my direct influences or mentors was the studio owner, Carolyn DeVore, of the studio that I spent the majority of my childhood dancing in. For me, she was like, it still is the blueprint of like dance studios. She has probably the largest studio in Southeast Queens. And so she has always been the person that I have looked to for direction in terms of, this dance studio world, because there isn't really like a book. I mean, they probably are some, but there really isn't like a book to doing this. So as a child, I always just watched her and just studied her, and just, the things that she did down to how she spaces. And she's also one of those people who can just look at a student and tell you what size they are. We never were measured. Only costumes we were ever measured for were African costumes. But other than that, she's also one of those that can look and say, oh no, that's a medium, that's an extra Large, that's an extra small or a small adult. She's like one of those people. She can space a routine like nobody else. Those props when when a number might not be hitting the way it's supposed to be hitting. So it's like all of those things that it takes to kind of like run a studio, even the way in which she commands the respect of her peers, of her parents, of her students. All of those things are things that I kind of like look to and say, wow, what is she doing that allows, her to have this success? And I believe this is her she's going into her 30, this is her 35th year of her studio. And then as far as in leadership, I also teach in the New York City public school system. I teach dance. But my first principal, when I first started teaching in 2005, Paula Holmes was my principal. And so I would say, I use her. She's no longer here with us, but she's also someone that I could say is like a mentor in leadership. That I really learned a lot from, in terms of just being like a strong woman and a strong leader. So those are two like of the people I can like really think of off the top of my head.
Because I think being a woman in business, that I think we're very lucky as studio kids a lot of studio owners are females.
Right.
So like to me, opening up a business as a female, that wasn't weird. I grew up in a studio for 15 years where the boss was a female. So that wasn't I know you understand what I'm saying. It's like
Absolutely.
you had that person to look up to that looked like you. That was like, oh, it wasn't, not sorry, you guys, but wasn't a man in that position. It was a woman leading and her team and dealing with the money issues and not being scared to talk about money or, like to me, that's, and, we're giving that to the next generation, which is really cool.
And she was actually a dance teacher too. She was a teacher in the New York City Department of Education. So a lot of, like, I literally I feel like followed in her footsteps in a lot of ways. But yeah.
And that's where we met. That's where me and Zakiya met. She was in the studio and we came there. We wasn't even working at the studio yet. We just came to drum one day at the studio and that's where we all met. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Zakiya, have you called this person and told them what you just told us?
Every chance I get. So we have a concert that we do for Black History Month every February, and last year we honored her. So we present to her with an award, and then like every year after my recital, I send her a text and tell her thank you.
That means more to her than probably any of us will ever know. And that's wonderful that she's such a mentor, a strong mentor, that sometimes you get people who are a little like, oh, you can't get bigger than me. You can't, right? Like sometimes there's that mentality. And so she's a true, I'm the same way about my studio owner who now has passed a few years ago, but she was always like, how can I help you? How are we going to grow? What do you need? Like it was there was never a comparison. She just wanted to see me shine and fly. And it's, to me, that's like what a good mentor is. It's amazing that you have someone like that too.
Yes. And I asked you that question on purpose because I don't think we should ever forget where we came from or the people who influenced us, because they make us who we are today, good or bad. Mm-hmm. So, Kofi, where do you see things going? What would you like the future to look like for the studio?
Well, I'm very ambitious. And I look at where we are now as our flagship, and meaning that I want to open up other studios in different cities, different areas. I've spoken with Zakiya about that a lot. And I probably think like that because I believe in Z so much, like I know you can do it. I know we can do it. I seen her do the magic. And I want to bring what we have to other places. I go to a lot of different places and they don't necessarily have what we have. And I know everybody probably says that and feels like that about their own studio, but I really, really believe it. And I believe that we can offer something. And, who knows how many places, but I'm looking at about 4 different places throughout the country right now. And that's really my goal and my dream to do. We have a little bit of work that we want to finish up on our place, but I believe in forward movement. So sometimes I have analysis paralysis where we just keep going back and working on this place. But I was recently, in the South, and I'm not going to say the place yet because I don't want to jinx it. But I was recently in the South and looking at places and having great conversations, and I was a little bit north of New York City, looking at places. So we're kind of ready. We have, for what we do, we have a blueprint that I believe works. Yeah. Just to be honest, what gave me a lot of fuel was going to the conference this summer. It gave me a lot of fuel. Just seeing successful business owners, not just dance studios, because we're all running businesses. Seeing successful business owners let me know that this is something that we don't just look at it this way, that it's a whole world that I didn't know about that also looks at it and are very successful. Sometimes all people, they look at certain kind of success, but when the night of the gala, and I was looking at those ladies' pocketbooks and stuff, I said, oh, these are some successful people.
That's one way to read the room, okay?
You can really read a room with that way.
I'm going to look closer at those pocketbooks.
And then, the one-on-one conversation I was having with people there was like, y'all are inspiring us. Y'all are letting us know that we should stay inspired and we should just keep going. Like, times might get tough, but that doesn't mean that tough times mean stop. It means that, roll up your sleeves and put a little bit more elbow grease in.
That's right. That's right.
Wow. That was great. I want to say, when it comes to the conference and success in this business, I'm sure you noticed this. It's not about being like everyone else. It's about creating your own brand, your own thing. Like you said, we're different from everybody, or you're different than most. You should always believe that, and continue to be that way. Not mold yourself like all the schools who have nice pocketbooks. Mold yourself like you, so then you buy a really nice pocketbook. Kofi, I'm going to get you a really nice bag for next year's.
One of the things me and Zakiya have in common is we like nice things. Like, we really like nice things. So we pay attention to what's going around. So,
and that's a good motivator in life, just saying.
You guys are going to be just fine. I can't wait to see where it is in 10 years. I'm so glad we crossed paths, and watching you just over the last few months and what you're doing with your studio. You're doing it. You will get there. And I know you're anxious, Kofi. Take breaths along the way and realize you've gotten as far as you've gotten, and pat yourself on the back for that success before you look for the next one.
Yeah. Because I think we forget doing. Yeah, we forget to do that, Rhee. I read a quote the other day. It says, I think we don't realize how far we've come because we keep raising the bar so high. And I'm like, wow. Like, I feel like that's so relatable to studio owners specifically. We just always are like chasing the next thing. Okay, we have 5 new students. We have 10 new students. We have this many costs. Like, you never like look around and like, wow, we already got to here. That's pretty amazing. Like 2 years ago, would you be thinking about, I'm looking at possibly 4 other locations? Like, where's your mindset even there 4 years ago, right? Like, we've all come such a long way. It's awesome.
Okay. Back on that real quick. We were talking, I forget the lady's name, and she said she had like 3,500 students, right?
I think it's
and so when she was like, over this week, she said, in the last 2 days since I've been here, I got 3 new students. And we're looking like, you got 3,500. And but I get it. Everyone counts. And that was something that really helped me to just think about, growth, and think about what you're doing. You can't, because you have a number, doesn't mean that you brush off these small numbers. It's something that is real. It's something that is important. It's something that you really you don't take for granted. You take it and you say, I'm going to cherish this, because again, like we talked about earlier, parents, trusting us with their children is important, and we can't, we can never look down at that.
Yes.
Wow. Okay,
All right, so we're going to
let's
switch
go
gears a
rapid
little bit.
fire, my friend.
Yep, exactly. We're going to go into a quick round of rapid fire.
Okay.
Rhee, do you want to take the first one? So we're going to ask you a few fun questions, you guys. And the first thing that comes to your mind, that's what you say.
So who answers first? You gonna ask who goes?
I'll ask Zakiya, and then I'm going to ask you too.
Okay.
Okay, favorite style of dance to teach?
Tap.
Kofi, you got one?
I teach drumming, and so my favorite drumming is djembe drumming.
Djembe.
Awesome.
Djembe, yes, from West Africa.
Give us a song that always. Oh, you're gonna do it?
Sorry.
You're good, Rhee. Give us one song that always lifts
I'm
your
like
spirit.
Kofi. I'm into the next thing. Go ahead.
Zakiya, give us one song that always lifts your spirit.
It's a soca song. It's called "Cheers to Life" by the artist called Voice.
Nice.
And for me, it's Miles Davis, All Blues.
I think this is me.
Yeah.
One word to describe Asase Yaa. I hope I said it right. One word to describe it. Zakiya.
Legacy.
Oh.
Family.
Kofi.
Family.
The best advice you've ever received as a teacher. Oh, you're muted.
As a teacher, the best advice that you received as a teacher. Oh man, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know.
That was the biggest one you could have dropped today. That's hard.
Now, whether I follow the advice, I don't know. But that was.
I was just going to ask you that. Is it something you believe in and follow? Don't answer the question.
Mine would be don't lose the attention of your class.
Yeah.
Okay, what does living the dream look like to you, Zakiya?
Living the dream looks like to me now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Me now.
For me, walking into a building that has Asase Yaa's name on it, being partners with Zakiya, with my brother Yao, with my wife, us being able to have so many different programs running, having our own studio, but also teaching thousands of kids in New York, having our Rhythms and Movements Festival, having our Art is Alive Festival, having our recital in a real theater. I could just keep going on and on, but these are the things that, we couldn't always do, but now it's part of our community, our culture, our business, Asase Yaa.
Beautiful. Well, go ahead, Rhee.
It'll get there, I promise you that.
Yeah.
Well, Zakiya and Kofi, thank you so much for giving us a little glimpse into your world and this meaningful conversation this morning. We're very grateful for the work that both of you are doing and the wisdom that you shared today. So thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you.
And to all our viewers, if this conversation lit a spark for you, we invite you to share it, tag a fellow dance teacher, dance parent, or studio owner who would be inspired by Zakiya and Kofi's story.
Yes, and make sure to follow Living the Dream on Spotify or Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode.
And a big thanks to our guests, to our audience, and to everybody working to make the dance world an awesome place.
Yes, and last but not least, a special thank you to Jackrabbit for their continued sponsorship and support of Living the Dream. Thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time, my friends, realize we are in the greatest profession in the world, and appreciate it and keep living the dream. Take care. Thank you, Zakiya and Kofi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of Living the Dream. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance, for their support of our community and helping dance studios thrive. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your dance friends. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep dancing, and keep making a difference.